Power Sports family, what's going on? Mike here, the CEO of Power Sports. Power Sports Beyond the Training. Hey man, today's a special one. I got a close friend of mine. I was fortunate to be part of his son's career a little bit. But man, I'm excited about this one. We got Coach Michael Lane for Track Club. What's up, Mike?
Man, not much. How you doing?
Man, I'm good, man. So I'm gonna give a little quick backstory. I used to run a track academy in Augusta with Velocity Striders, and we only had high school kids. And Mike and his wife reached out to me and was like, "Hey, we got a kid. They was running for another club across the town." And I would say they weren't getting no results. And so you know what I mean? Like we kind of, and I was skeptical because I didn't want any small kids. And how old was Langston at the time?
Man, that was 2014. So he was 10. He might have been 9 turning 10, but he was younger than everything you had. So
yeah, he was the only young kid. But I tell you, our older kids embraced him. He was like a little brother to him, man. And the rest is history. Me and Mike was thinking the other day, like how long we've been rocking together, man. And you're right.
Yeah.
It's been
a minute. 2013, I think we came. I want to say 2013, 2014.
It was 2013 because y'all didn't come that year. You know what I mean? You came the following year. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
We over 10 years strong doing this thing, man. So
we've been rolling.
We've been rolling, man. Yeah, for sure. So Mike, man, it's been good. I got some I'm glad to have you on, man. But let's go ahead and just dig into this thing, man. Like, can you take us back to where your love of track and field began?
Wow. So I guess we're talking about my son. So we can start at, that was 2012. If you want to call it a love, because he was running. I was working overseas, but I come home and, I had long summer, so we could go do this track thing. So that was the big love. And then, watching you coach and watch other people coach and watching athletes do what they do. So I want to say it was definitely my son who brought the love. And then, and then it became my wife and I, we just both embraced it. So that was,
gotcha.
That was it right there.
Right. So what led you to start Lane 4? Like what made you say I want to start my own club? I know you stepping in this one. You know what I mean?
So look, man, when you took off and started D1, right? Started was it D1 or Velocity?
Velocity first,
up in Greenville. So you left, and that left a void down here of who to train with. And we went through some other coaches. Let me take it back. Even before you left, you and I were already talking. I was like, man, you know what? I'm getting ready to come back from overseas doing all this work. I want to go ahead and learn what it takes to do this whole track and field thing because I like it. I see what you're doing. I remember the whole Darius thing and just watching him just go out and do, and then just watching all the other kids do what they did. So I guess that also brought the love of just watching the athletes, do. So we got, wow. So yes. Yeah. So you left and that left that void. Let's just go right there. And we had to go through a few coaches to kind of get where we were. So, hence, 2015, you're gone. We got to do something. We go with another individual. That works out for a year. And I just could not deal with what was going on and how things were happening. And I just decided,
Quit trying to be modest. You know what I mean? This is a podcast. We're not going to be modest. Quit trying to be modest and just tell it what it is. You know what I mean? People weren't developing. You were looking for development for your son. And there we go.
Yeah, development is everything, right? When I talk to coaches now, if they don't mention the word develop, they're developing your athlete or developing your child or developing the athlete, we're going to have some issues. So it Mike.
I got you. Yeah, sorry, I don't know what happened. You hear me?
I can hear you. Okay, now I got you back. So I don't know where we are. I know this will get. So it just came down to development, right? Okay. You need coaches that can develop, and that wasn't happening. You were gone, and even after you left, right? We would pack our kids up early fall. We'd hop in a car and we'd run up to Velocity and do some training just to pick up a little bit of extra whatever you had to get. So so that's what caused us to do this whole lane 4. I guess you can call it the lane 4 experiment, which turns into something that's now going into year number 10. Right. So, that's it.
That's amazing, man. 10 years, man. Time flies.
Yeah.
I tell you, man.
It's never thought.
Who would? Yeah, right. I mean, but I watch you guys grow. Like when I left, watching y'all go from a couple kids to what I think y'all got over 100 on the books now. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
You know what I mean? So just kind of watching that and watching success, and you always pick up the phone. We always talking about development and
yes,
what
we do.
You know what I mean? It's like it's one of those things, man. Like people forget about if you're the smartest person in the room, man. Like I said, you're in the wrong room. You know what I mean? Like we all got somebody.
Yep, absolutely.
Absolutely. That's how development happens, right? You know what I mean? So just watching y'all take those kids and when they run fast, hurdle fast, jump far, you know what I mean? All those things, I watched that. I watched that with my own eyes, man. So, man, salute to you, man, taking that program, man, and, doing what you're doing with it. What does Lane 4 symbolize to you personally?
Wow. For me, the club itself is family. That's a big thing. I hear that from a lot of parents, especially parents who left. For me, so that's one of the big things. I don't want to say excellence, but I'm going to say excellence because that's just kind of where not that you have to be excellent, you have to be great, but that you're excellent to yourself, right? You've got to, what goal do you want to make? So to me, lane 4 symbolized to me personally, it's family. It's that excellence, it's athletic development. It's a whole host of things. I probably just run through a bunch of little small 2-word, 1-word entities, but it was something my wife and I thought of and developed, and it really is family because it's her and I that make this thing tick, and really her that makes it tick. I just kind of run around and do what she tell me. So you know how that is.
Yeah. No, I get it, man. The people that don't understand lane 4, if you're in lane 4 in the track, I mean you're the fastest whoever on the track in that race.
Yes.
So that's what that means. So when I see lane 4, like, we're the best. We're gonna make sure we're after lane 4. You know what I mean? That's for me. That's what when I see that, when I heard that, like, oh man, I get that. I like that. You know what I mean?
You get it. Yeah. People ask me what it comes from. Yes. Yeah. And that's exactly that. That's where it came from as well. Is we got that middle lane. That we got that lane 4. We're going down the track. We're going down as the fastest ones in there. So that's the plan.
For sure. Now, let's talk a little bit of coaching philosophy and methods. Like, how would you describe your coaching style in just a few words?
Look, tough. I'm just gonna say it. That comes from being in the military all those years. Measured. We're gonna do what we got to do, and we're developing. Right? We develop. And then the other thing with my coaching style, probably unlike yourself, and this is the one thing that always shocks people. I'm always up to learn when it comes to coaching. And you said that earlier about not being the smartest person in the room, because I wasn't that track guy, right? I showed up one day, the counselor who coached the track team was like, hey, you want to come run? Because I was a swimmer. Right. And I was like, yeah, I went out there, man. I did that one semester in high school. I was like, bro, you can get me back out there. I'm going back to the pool. Right. And that's where I was. So, so those two things, I'm tough, I'm measured and develop, we're going to be a developer of what's going on. So that's my coaching style. Now, as far as, how that translates out, that's us, that's me. Right. So. And a lot of people don't really understand the development side. We keep hitting on that. A lot of people just putting clubs together or putting organizations together and not really developing kids like they should. You know what I mean? And then kids don't get results. And then, I hate it because kids are left holding the bag at the end of the day. But a lot of times parents need to do research like, who have you developed? Not who you tag your name to, but who have you took from A to B to C to D to E to F G? You know what I mean? Like, right. And I think parents need to just do their due diligence on that. When they're putting kids in what they're training with, AU organization, whatever the case may be. Who absolutely anything they do. Yeah, who are they truly developing athletes? You know what I mean? What values do you try to instill in your athletes beyond the athletic performance? Like beyond the track, like what are you trying to instill in them on a day? Oh, the big thing, we say this a lot. I was going to say academics first, and that's always that. But we're trying to raise productive adults in society, right? only get you a couple hours a day, hour and a half at most, some days, maybe 2 hours on others. But, but we want you to grow up and have some values, right? You should become a productive member of society. Let's figure out how we're going to act and how you interact with your teammates, how you act when you go to a track meet, how do you present yourself? So that's probably, that's the biggest value I want to instill is what type of an adult am I going to become?
Right.
So that's probably it, is developing young adults, like young men, young women. That's the biggest deal. And that sometimes becomes a problem for some athletes. So.
Yeah. It's funny you say that because everybody look at a coach, but truly a coach is a mentor. You know what I mean? Somebody to help get them from, to the next level. And I think people just use a coaching word too vague. I'm a coach. No, I mean, if you're taking that role as a coach, you're truly a mentor too. So you got to make sure you're trying to, like you said, take them to be a, successful, citizen, individual outside of the track once they go into the real world, because we all know sports are going to end sooner than later. Some people,
and they all need to understand that.
Yeah.
Right. What are you going to do beyond that?
That's right. How do you
be 39 years old at the World Championships? Finishing second in the 100. Shelley had a great run, second, third, whatever the position was.
That's a great run. You know what I mean?
The fact that you made it.
Yeah, one of my athletes right now, Natoya Gould, she's competing right now. I mean,
yes.
Gould's, she's in that mid-range 30s. You know what I mean? Like, so you know what I mean? Like,
running well.
That's a small window, really, of your life.
Yes.
I tell people, man, I was a professional track athlete for 7 years. 7, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So what are you gonna do the rest of the time of your life? You know what I mean? Like, I think
do PAP sports.
Yeah, you know what I mean? PAP sports or whatever it may be. You know what I mean? Like, but you gotta have that plan. You know what I mean? That's the thing. You gotta have that plan.
That's what you're gonna do. The plan. What's next?
Yeah, some people rock that sport, and then if they don't have a plan, they get to the end like, I don't know what to do now, because nobody actually helped mentor them to say, hey, when this is over, you got to go here, then you're gonna go here, you go here. So that's why, my big thing is, mentoring athletes, man. I'm not just a coach, or I'm not just a developer.
You gotta set them up for that next stage of life, with the next 2 stages of life. That's
right. How do you balance the physical training with the mental preparation of your athletes?
Man, you know what? Those go hand in hand.
They do.
Let's be honest, right? That kid has to understand, I got to have my mind right in order to be able to run, right? The minute you say 400s, let's just put it there, they all fall out. My God, I got to go around the track the whole time. But that's just a state of mind. And most of them can go around the track with no problem.
Right.
But that's just one. And when we talk mental, that's just a small mental thing. It's funny, but their mindset gets in the way. So you've got to coach them from a mental aspect of, hey, get out there and run. Or you got those kids who like to time watch and look at the heat sheets before they come out, and oh man, I got to run next to. Doesn't matter. No matter what you do, you can't run their event. You can't run their time. You just got to run.
Right.
So yeah, we spend a lot of time on that mental. Hey, I need you to just get out there and do what you got to do.
That drives
whether you go win or lose.
Yeah, that drives me crazy. And look at heat sheets, because most time people just blowing smoke with the time they put in there. That kid or that's not going to run it anyway. You know what I mean? I can look at my, they've never ran that time. So you think that, you know what I mean? So they just blow it most of the time.
And as a coach, that's what you do. You go back and look at it. We used to say one meet we used to go to every year.
Right.
We always knew the second to the last heat was the fast heat.
Right.
Because usually that first 8 or 9 times on the heat sheet,
right,
they were all fudge times.
Yep, that's right.
And the second to the fast heat was the second to the last heat was always the fast heat if they were running, slowest to fastest.
Right.
So yeah,
it's funny you talking about kids. The mental part of falling out. You got to run the 400 today, because So y'all don't know, my daughter runs for lane 4. Man. So the first time Mike put her in the meet, and she saw the 400, and I was at a meet with my high school team. I got the call, Daddy, I can't run the 400. Why they got me in the 400? I was like, baby, you run that 400. They all know what you think, but you're gonna run that 400.
You're gonna run that 400, right?
But I had to talk her off a ledge. You know what I mean? So that's the mental part. I had to talk off a ledge for me. You know what I mean? And she's 10 now, but she was 9 at the time. You know what I mean? So that mental, you're right. It starts with that mental first. You know what I mean? You can do it. And as she done it, I'm like, hey, babe, you ran well. You know what I mean? Like,
right. You got to go run it. They don't realize it. I had an athlete. We talk about athletes. I'm sure it's going to probably come up later. Would put her in the 400, and she would run and she'd coach. I just don't like the 400. She's ready to jump off the ledge.
Right.
So now I'm walking over there and talking to her, and I'm like, hey, I know you don't like the 400, but you made the finals again.
Right.
So you got to run it again, right?
Right.
And she was fairly good and decent at it, but it was the 400. I'm just not going to run. I'm not going to run.
Right.
But, you know, she's doing well. She's off in college running. In college, luckily, she doesn't have to run the 400. But she's there.
That's right. That's right.
She's there.
So spin off that. What do you think? What do you wish that most young athletes understood about training? Like, what do you like? That one thing you wish like they understood about the training development?
Mike.
Yeah.
That fairy dust, it doesn't happen overnight.
It does not.
Right. That's what I wish they understand. It's a process.
Yeah.
And that sometimes becomes an issue because they don't understand the process. Everybody.
And not just with the athlete, with the parents too.
Oh, the parents. Well, my kid's just as fast as no, maybe.
Right.
Maybe he's great on they're great on the playground.
Right. That's right.
Now they're out here with athletes who go up against other athletes who run against these other top athletes across the state and across the nation.
Right.
Not just the playground at your local elementary, middle school. Right. Yeah. So that parents and athletes alike understand that there's a process.
Right.
Sometimes you're fortunate enough to be fast right off the bat. Now we just need to develop the rest of what it takes to be, you know, be track fast.
Right.
So yeah,
that's a good point. Because you're right. It's no, like you said, it's no fairy that that doesn't happen. You know what I mean? I saw something on social media a while back now. It said it took Usain Bolt, was it 10 years to run 9.5? And you got you know what I mean? 10 years. That's a decade. You know what I mean? A decade. And people come like thinking that they should go from, you know what I mean, start running 10.3 out the gate.
Right.
And a lot of parents think that, why my kids, it's a process. Or then they get upset with you because then, like, well, I'm gonna go down the road to John Boy, you know what I mean? And he got the special juice in his closet that he's gonna get my kids. And then you check the result, the kids run either slower, you know what I mean, than they were with you. It's just
go down there and get that sippy cup from John Boy. We ain't doing the sippy cup, baby.
Inside joke, sippy cup.
Inside joke, but we ain't doing the sippy cup.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Man, let's talk athlete development success stories, man. Like, can you share a story of one of your athletes from Lane 4 that really embodied what Lane 4 truly means?
You know what? I kept saying, and I'm going to say this, I didn't want to say my son, because as you know, I wound up coaching him when you were gone. Right. Because he's my son, and everybody's going to go, well, he's going to pick his son, right? Because I coached him. But when he had, you know that, and I know that, he had spinal surgery coming out of his freshman year, and we missed a full. First off, we had surgery. You know, you had your back split wide open, and then, you know, you come back 6 months later, and you get on the track and you run your first indoor meet, and you PR wasn't by much; it was by 0.01. Right. But the fact that happened when you spent 3 months or 2 months where you couldn't even run, right? We eased them back in there and eased them back in there. And then we get back and we're running, and then COVID happens. Yeah. Right. So right. We're ready to go. And here we go again. Right. So I think that was it was a sophomore year coming. So COVID happened. So I would say my son is that athlete that would embody what we want. Hey, we get you back, we develop you, we get you where you need to go. You know, and then I've got other athletes. The girl I talked about who, you know, Jada running that 400. You know, I met Jada in the stands, and I'll make this quick. I met Jada in the stands at a track meet. She was 5th grade going to 6th grade, and she was just all set and ready to quit because she just didn't want to run anymore. I just don't want to do this. And now you're off running in the ACC. You know, and you know, she was great for her. So hey, so those are probably two, but my son for sure, because of all that he had to go through and you know, to get where he is, and he's running in college, he graduate next year. So, you know, life is great. So I'm gonna keep this short.
No, that's funny. About Jada, because she go back to embody being a mentor. You would pull out of sense. You had to mentor her because you wasn't coaching her then. You know what I mean? So you had to mentor her. I wasn't. But she was gonna be all right. You know what I mean? So that's what I mean. Like, it's real true mentorship than really coaches. I think some people got it twisted, really, honestly. How do you
Gotta mention
identify
that.
natural raw talent when they walk? So first they walk on your track, and you're like, man, he or she's gonna be really good at here. Like, how do you identify that?
You know what? It's going to sound crazy. So when you come to lane 4, I don't care what age you are, from 9 years all the way up to 18,
Right.
everybody runs the same thing. Obviously, the 9-year-olds don't run as fast in training as the 18-year-olds or whatever, but we watch what you're doing. So for me, that's where the identification process starts.
Gotcha.
Like, how are you with the fact that you've got to run with these individuals who are runners? How do you how do you just not fall apart? Like, you're like, okay, I can do this. And then you just watch them go, and they just go around like, hey, we're going to take a break. And they were like, nope, I don't want to take a break. Sometimes, hey, I need you to take this break. But you look at just how they're handling that whole training process, because like I said, nothing changes. We might slow it down, but you're not going to. And so that's where it starts. We just look at you and how you handle everybody else.
It's funny you said slow it down. That's my favorite thing. Sometimes we got to slow it down and speed it up.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot
of
people,
I learned that from you.
Yeah, you got to slow it down. I mean, I look back when I first turned professional and I got with Brooks Johnson, and I was a consistent 10-1 guy in college. You know what I mean? And then Brooks made me slower, and I lost my shit. You know what I mean? I was like, this dude don't know what he's doing. You know what I mean? Why do y'all got me? I'm calling. I call my agent. Why y'all got me this guy? And at the time, internet wasn't as strong. You know what I mean? I would say so. I didn't know who Brooks Johnson was. You know what I mean? Like, he took all these Olympic teams. He started USA Track for High Performance. You know what I mean? He's coached the Olympia at every Olympic since 1970. I had no idea what a resume was. But what he had to do was he had to slow me down first to break those bad habits and mechanics to speed me back up. You know what I mean? So I remember going from 10-1 to 10-5. But that was like, I'm getting ready to lose contract.
I'm paying for this.
Yeah, I heard he was contract. But then once he built me back up. I remember the first meet back out. We was in Flagstaff, Arizona. I'll never forget it. I go 10-0. I was like, whoa. You know what I mean? And then that trust came with him. Like, all right, I got it. You know what I mean? So no, it's funny you saying speed it up. You know what I mean? Slow it down.
Slow it down. I do that to kids a lot of times, and they come in, coach, I'm just not. Hey, just keep running, right? We've got to fix this, fix that.
Yep.
And it's all going to hit. And when it hits,
yep,
right, it's going to be, which is, kind of the Maddie scenario this year.
Right.
Maddie was getting nervous about what she was going to run.
Right.
And I was like, look, just run. It's going to happen. I had that. And then I had another girl as well, who's also a quarter miler that runs with us. Same thing. Coach, I'm just relax.
Yeah.
When it hits,
it's going to hit.
Like, wow, wait a minute.
Yeah. When it hit, it's going to hit. You know what I mean?
It's going to hit. Right. So, we're not running fast enough. Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. We got this.
Yeah, you're absolutely fine. That's funny you say that. So what role does competition play in the personal growth in your program? Like, what role is like, hey, I want to win now, or so I'm gonna just throw you in here, or do you like, you know what, this means you're gonna run this and this because I know you need more of this endurance work to go here, or you want us to say, I need to win right now?
Competition, kind of what you just said. Competition plays a role. It gives you, the coach, right, the ability to see, obviously, what you've done in training to get your athlete to perform, but it also gives I think one of the biggest things is wins and losses. Let's just go there.
That's right.
How does your kid react, or your athlete react when they don't win?
Oh yeah.
How do they act when they win? Right. And once you see what those look like, then you got to go back to the mentorship portion of it. And how do I go over and talk to them about mentoring? Because you got them kids who they do a whole lot of this before the meet starts, right? And then they lose, and then they're truly upset. Right. But let's worry about the time. I tell this, stop chasing. I've said this to a lot of my kids. We're chasing the clock. Right. Right. So we get into competition. I need you to chase the clock. Yes, I know you might want to beat said individual. Right. But I tell them all the time, when I go talk to college coaches, I haven't had one college coach ask me what place did they come in. That's right. They want to know how fast did they run. That's the thing. So I tell kids, if your PR is 25 flat, the kids you've been trying to beat's been running 24s, 24.93 or something.
Right.
And you finally beat them, but you run 25.10 and they run 25.11. What does it mean? Because you still didn't PR yourself, beat your own personal record,
right,
and go 24.99. So
right. That's right.
So competition brings a lot, and that's where you really I think you really have to mentor your kids and be like, hey, I need you to be able to understand why we're out here, right? Yes, it's nice to win. It's cool to hang the trophies and the ribbons on your wall, but what are you doing in a personal level from a time standpoint? How are you developing in track and field? So, that's me.
Wins and losses aren't going to get you a college track scholarship. Time.
I got to run this, right? And then we're looking at it now, right? Which schools are calling you because of which times you are. So I'm sorry if I got off topic on that one.
No, you're good. You're good. No, I like it because I'm sitting back while you're saying that, thinking about last winter when our track kids ran with you guys, and we're in a different place in training. And our kids were like mentally like, "Why we aren't running fast? They're running fast." And I remember having a conversation with you like, "We haven't even been on track yet. We on grass. We haven't done this." And it was trying to talk them off the ledge of like, "Hey, we're gonna be fine when it's time for it to be fine." You know what I mean? Like, and you know what I mean. So once we got in the season, and they started dropping those times, like, "Oh, okay, like trust our process." Cam and I know what we're doing. You know what I mean? Like,
process.
You know what I mean? Everybody, but the kids don't understand because everybody's in different phases of training.
Right.
I mean,
trust the process.
Yeah, you guys were further along in training than we wanted to be. You know what I mean? So we had y'all running just to under, you know what I mean, get that. Not where I'm looking for.
Right.
Just,
we were on our second meet by the time we all got together.
Right. So, but I mean, it's just that mental approach for our athletes.
Yes.
How do you involve your families and parents in that development process at Lane 4?
I spend a lot of time calling my parents, especially my new parents, when they first join the club. I'll give them a call and ask them, hey, how are things going? What do you think? What did your kids say? Or what did your athlete say? So I spend a lot of time doing that. As we do, we keep the parents away from the field, right, during the training process. But when it's all said and done, they can look at what's going on from up where they're sitting. But, getting them involved is going to be my phone call. Hey, how's the athlete doing? Let's talk about, this is what's going on. What are you doing on the side, right? We also got to watch that, because that can sometimes, as you know, become a detriment, because we're like, oh man, they're doing fine, but now all of a sudden something's changed. So what did you go out and do? You get a lot of those that are right. I got to do a little something extra, especially with these little kids. When parents will put them little kids. They didn't come home tired enough.
Hey, more is better.
And sometimes you got to understand that's not it. So I have to call them and have to call them and go, hey, look, let's talk and let's talk about where your kid is and what they're doing. So
more parents understand and kids understand more is not better. We got a running joke here at the facility that it stemmed from years ago where a parent didn't want their kid to train anymore at the facility because he wasn't wet enough. I mean, he wasn't sweating enough. And I never knew when sweat equated to development. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? So now it's a running joke where we're gonna put a bucket on the door, they walk out the door, we're gonna pull the chain, dump the bucket on the door. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean?
Man, look, let's talk about Langston. Had that been when Langston was younger, before his surgery, Langston didn't sweat. He ran just as hard as everybody else. Now he sweats, he's sweating all the time. But so don't let the sweat, the wetness fool you.
No. Anybody can make you sweat. You know what I mean? That's what you do. Like, but if you ever want to watch an NCAA practice or want to watch Olympic practice or train the athlete, you see more resting than you see anything, because your body has to be able to do the same thing every single time. Now it's times where we need to overload you and that capacity. But when you're talking about speed, power, but you gotta have that rest has to be there. You know what I mean?
You gotta have it, because you won't have it the next rep if you don't.
The nervous system is
too short a rest cycle.
The nervous system is dull out. People just don't really get that. And let's talk challenges, mindset, and community. What's your biggest challenge has been, and how did you overcome? Starting Lane 4.
So I think the biggest thing, we already talked about it.
Lane 4 or either Lane 4 or just with the athlete, either or.
So biggest challenges as a coach and how to overcome it. I think the first thing we're going to go back to it is getting parents to understand. We talked about it earlier, was it doesn't happen overnight, right? Getting through that immediate success. What has been the biggest challenge is just those parents, and they want it now. And it just doesn't happen. I had a parent, man, called me for about 2-3 years, Mike. Hey, I got the fastest kid in CSR. I got the fastest kid. Hey, that's cool. That's great. Hey, bring him out to the track. That was year 1. Next year, hey, we coming out. Same thing. Year 2. Year 3 shows up, finally brings him out. Son gets walked. Right? Got 3 kids on the team, his son's age. Well, I got the 3 of them. Gets walked.
Right.
But hear me. Kids got talent, but it's not track talent just yet.
Right.
So that's probably the biggest, like I said, that's the biggest challenge is, right, that immediate success. Hey, they're good where they are.
Right.
Let us develop them to get them where they need to go. From an athlete standpoint. From a club standpoint, the biggest challenge is growth right now. Was not expecting it. I tell people all the time, and people go, I've had people come to me, hey man, so-and-so starting a track club. And I go, good, great. Yeah. And they go, what? I'm like, great. I was like, just in Columbia County alone, there's like 35 to 38,000 students.
Right.
We can only coach so many of them.
Right.
So that's another big challenge of, some folks think that we want to own this. We can't, no matter what we think, right? If you only got 1% of them 38,000 kids, that's what, 380 kids? Mm-hmm. I'm still not going to train 380 kids. Right. Somebody else has to do it. So that's probably one of the bigger challenges is, hey, the challenge is we need some other folks out here to do what we're doing, and that's develop. Right. So I know that might sound kind of strange, but
no, it doesn't. I get it too. It's like in the training business, people are like, well, D1's going across the road. This person's going across the road. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, you on Woodruff Road right now, I think it's 7 training facilities. You can't coach and train everybody. You know what I mean? Right. So it is what it is. You know what I mean?
And we don't fit everybody, right? I come from a military background, and I tell people all the time, if your kid doesn't understand the word no, this is not the program for you. I'm just putting it out there when people see this video. Right. Because I'm going to tell your kid no. If they're used to getting over and getting what they want, don't matter. My fastest athlete on the team can tell you they get screamed at, if you want to call it. They get talked to. Right. I guess that's a more politically correct word nowadays. They get talked to just as much as the kids who aren't doing as well, because they got to that level for a reason. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to let you just get away with anything. So you just because you're there and you're fast and your number, whatever it is in the country or in the state, we still got to develop you. We still got to make sure that you're going. No. So we got challenges, man. We got challenges.
No, I get it, man. I get it. What legacy do you hope to leave with Lane 4 in the track world? Like what do you want that legacy to be with Lane 4?
Man, what? I'm going to say it, excellence, right? Get out and figure out what your excellence is going to be. Just excellence, because first off, I'm not supposed to have the team that we have, right? These kids shouldn't be running the way they're supposed that they're running. Because I wasn't a track guy, right? And you and I have had this discussion more than enough times, right? Just because I wasn't a track guy, right? Which is why I spend all my time going out and getting education, right? Track education, because I just don't, I can't say this is how it happened. I can probably tell you how it happened in the pool, right? But I can't tell you how it happened on the track. But
see, that's the most important piece. You're going out, you're getting educated. You're getting your level 1 through level 3. You're connecting with people that's done it and that you trust in the process. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Everybody's not going to do that. Everybody's going to just go to AAU. You have to create a club and say, hey, go on YouTube and like this is how we're doing it. They're not going. They miss the development piece. The development piece comes on the education side and having great mentor that you can pull on. It's like, what do you think about that? Man, I mean, everybody won't do that. So
between you and I can name them coaches. I will call coaches, and I'm talking collegiate coaches or the high school coaches. I'm calling them to get to get whatever. Hey, coach, this isn't working right. My kids seem to be stuck. And I did a lot of this really early on, and I still do it to this day. And they were like, hey, what are you doing? I'm doing this. Okay, well, try this out. Man, it works. Okay, cool. I moved on. Now I learned something new. I'm going to call you because the biggest thing we all have as coaches, you know this and I know that, egos.
Yeah.
Egos will get in our way.
Yep.
And yeah, egos will get in our way.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Man, some closure, man. One word describe Lane 4. Just one word, the culture of Lane 4.
Whew. You know what? The culture at Lane 4, development. I've been saying it this whole time. I'll tell you what I had in my mind for that question. I was thinking competitive, but it's not. It's development.
Yeah, because you're going to be,
Lane 4.
Once you develop, you're always going to be competitive anyway. You know what I mean?
So it's development.
Right. No, I like
development. I'm going to say that's us. We're going to develop.
Yeah.
Right? You might not like the way it developed out, but we're going to develop.
That's right. Hey, success speaks for itself, though. So it is what it is.
Yes.
Your favorite meet or moment as a coach?
Wow. Okay, I can name. I know it's supposed to be quick, down, and dirty because we're trying to get this over with. So it'll be the first time my son broke 11, went 10-9. So let me just say that was at a Mark Trail meet. Nice. So that's the one you're gonna always remember, right? As a sprinter, they always, as boys, they're always trying to get into the 10s.
That's right.
So that's gonna be the first one. Madison Brister running, and she finished second at Brooks PR this year. But the fact that she ran a 52.89, her best time ever, out of lane 1, that's going to be a memory that's going to be there. And then I've got others, 3:48 in the 4x4. Right. But that's probably going to be the big girl team, 3:48. But that's those two. That first time my son, cracked the 11s and then cracked into the 10s, and that 52 out of lane 1.
Yeah, that was huge. That was huge. I remember watching that race and calling you, man. Like, that was insane. Because I was like, you put her any other lane on the track, she wins it and runs a faster time. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. So
you running that tight lane 1.
Yep.
Yeah. So those are probably the two biggest. Those are probably the two biggest.
A book or a quote that you live by, something that you live by, book or a quote.
Book or a quote.
Yep.
Man, I don't think I have any quotes, books I've read that. I know I should have this in my mind, like a quote, spending all that time in the military. I just, there's a lot of quotes. There's probably stuff I can't even say.
Right.
But I don't, right now, what I live by is, and I'm just going to say this, is just not, if I can help it, not leaving anybody right behind. That's almost counted back with the military things. We don't leave anybody behind, but not leaving these athletes or these kids or these parents, who want to come in and do this thing we call track,
right?
Leaving them behind, right? Everybody needs an opportunity to get out there and develop and become something else if they can do it. So,
I like,
we're just not going to leave an athlete. We're just not going to leave a kid. We're going to try to help everybody. And sometimes we can't. And that's the hard part sometimes.
No, I like that, Mike. That makes a lot of sense. Man, tell us where everybody can find Lane 4, like social media, like where can we find Lane 4?
On Instagram, of course, is at Lane 4, and that's the number 4, Lane 4 Track, Lane 4 Track Club. Same thing on Facebook, and then we've got our website, www.lane4trackclub.com, and that's the number 4. It's not the word 4. So whenever you look up Lane 4, that's going to be us, and you should be able to find us. I don't know, anywhere else. If we on to Google us, we'll be there.
Hey, man, like
some of the big meets in the country, we'll be there too.
That's right. Well, Mike, man, I appreciate it. What people don't know, man, we got some stuff brewing in the pot that you and I are putting together, man. That's going to be able to take this track world, speed world to the next level. So, man, y'all make sure we're going to announce some things next few weeks. But Mike, appreciate you being on the show, man. Always a pleasure, man. Y'all keep doing what y'all doing, man. And we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate you having me on. Hey, y'all come see Lane 4 in Augusta.